learned that the league was expanding, and I felt that Philadelphia would be a great place for one of the
Bullies.
expansion teams.
And they had these grand plans. They were going to build this new building, the Spectrum. We all laughed at them.
The NHL started with 6 original teams: the Rangers, Bruins, Canadiens, Maple Leafs, Red Wings, and Blackhawks. And it was like that for many years. However, televised sports events were becoming more and more popular as the years went on, and the NHL was hoping to expand the game to new heights. They sought out in search of 6 new cities, hoping to add 6 teams to the league. This moment would become one of the most iconic ones in NHL history, known as the Great Expansion. The teams would feature teams from Pittsburgh, Minnesota, California, St. Louis, and LA, and a team that would wreak havoc on the league for years to come.
I'm glad y'all told me to react to this. You know what I'm saying? Broski Bullies. I was going to react to the whole HBO thing, but I'm not going to be able to because of HBO. I'm not going to be able to. So, this I think is the best video. Let me know in the comments if there is another good video on this I'll react to. But look, man, like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments what to react to next. You know what I'm saying? Let me know the legends. You know what I'm saying? Who to react to. Highlights.
The city of Philadelphia, known for its blue-collar mentality, and at the time, the city of no-shows when it came to sports. The 76ers, Eagles, and Phillies were both at their lowest lows, and the city needed to be lifted up. They needed something to brag about, and something to unite the city and the people of Philadelphia together. However, some weren't too happy about it at first.
What is it, soccer? And we said, no, it's hockey. And they said, well, hockey will never go over in Philadelphia.
They sort of fell asleep during our presentation.
The sidewalk. You'll be in Baltimore by Christmas.
What the hell are we getting ourselves into here?
A man named Dan Schneider decided to take a chance and add a hockey team to the city in hopes of adding a new sense of hope and a sense of pride. And luckily, after numerous attempts, they finally got funding to build an arena.
I hope he's not related to Dan Snyder.
The Flyers would shock everyone, beating top-tier teams and proving to everyone that they were not to be taken lightly. The city began to take notice, and the arena would find itself packed. Everyone wanted to see how their new team was doing, and the Flyers came to play. They'd go a game under 500, and luckily enough, it helped them clinch first in the division, one of which featured the 6 new expansion franchises. The Flyers would get a taste of postseason play, something the city hasn't seen in a long time, and they hoped to make some noise. Flyers would face off against the St. Louis Blues, a team full of grit and determination. This would begin to cause concern, as they didn't know what they were getting into, and they sure didn't expect what was to come, as the Blues would pound the Flyers to a pulp, blood everywhere, and the Flyers helpless. The Blues would dominate the Flyers, and would do it not once, but twice, as for 2 straight years, these two teams would meet in the playoffs, and both times, the Blues would destroy them. The Flyers were done getting
He slapped them
and pushed around, and decided that in order to win, they needed the
Bro, would this even fly in NHL today?
bulk up.
We certainly didn't have to get beat up. So we decided that no team would ever intimidate us ever again.
So headed into the draft, not only were the Flyers looking for talent, they were looking for grit. They were determined to never let something like this
After that, niggas
happen
like, all right,
again.
bet we ain't going for that no more. That'll start some
This
bullies.
offseason would prove to be the
That'll
most
get a bully
pivotal,
started.
as the Flyers would draft players who
on.
become cornerstones of the future Broad Street Bullies. Drafted in round 6 and 7 were wingers Don Selesky and Dave the Hammer Schultz, both brought in for their witty play. But perhaps the most crucial selection was Bobby Clark, selected in round 2 after numerous teams passed up on him. Some even did it twice. The concern with Bobby was his medical concerns. Bobby had diabetes, but the Flyers were sound selecting him regardless, as long as he lives like a normal diabetic. And it'd pay off, as not only did Bobby become a contributor offensively, he'd join in on the fun, and would provide his own type of grit. This versatility Clark possessed would become valuable to the club, desperately in need of an identity. For the next few seasons, the Flyers would continue to pile up on both scorers and enforcers, but still needed a few pieces to push them over the edge. But perhaps the biggest one was a hard-hitting goon, Dave Schultz, who backed down to no one.
Oh, yo, he went from hitting this person to hit. Yo, I like it though. I like it. Let's get spicy. I want you. I want you. Nah, this is real Philly type activity. This is just one person?
Fatality.
Let's fight, man. Dave Schultz trying to fight everybody. Is that the one that ain't had no teeth?
Schultz would come in and make an immediate impact, doing exactly what the Flyers selected him for. He used his fighting abilities to manhandle the entire league. He made every other team in the league terrified and would show no mercy. Schultz would always protect his teammates, and one wrong move would set him off. He set the standard in the Flyer organization, allowing others in the team to follow in his footsteps. And once the team destroyed the Atlanta Flames, a newspaper article gave Schultz the nickname the Hammer, and the Flyers the name the Broad Street Bullies. Both will become nicknames that would last a lifetime.
Oh my God.
He was a smooth skating, highly skilled winger who gave some balance to the team.
Bill Barber would prove valuable as well, but Barber didn't rely on grit. He instead provided great speed, agility, and scoring talent. Barber proved he still fit the Philadelphia mold by allowing his teammates to create scoring chances, and often, Bill was the one lighting up the lamp. Barber was well known, especially by his opponents, as he'd make sure his presence was known. Many acknowledged Barber's unique scoring abilities and stated it was hard to catch up, and that it was hard to compete against him. Barber was there when you needed him, and was an all-around talented winger, a player the organization and fans admired as the years rolled on.
All the Philadelphia Flyers back then were intense. Boy, were they ever intense. And Billy was a very good winger, always tough to play against, and excellent checker. He was an excellent all-around player, Billy was.
Philadelphia would also acquire a former Flyer years later. After shipping him off to Toronto, goaltender Bernie Parent came back poised and better than ever. Parent's first year back as a Flyer would arguably be his best year in the crease, posting a .189 save percentage, helping the Flyers succeed. His teammates acknowledged Bernie's play, and many stated they saw a different Parent than last time, one that seemed more relaxed and more loose. Parent was determined to make the most out of his second chance in Philly. Little did anyone know, Parent was the final piece of the puzzle that would help the Bullies dominate the league. The 1973-74 Flyers had a year to remember, and the fans were beginning to catch on once again, and soon, so would the players.
God saves more than Bernie Parent, right?
Come along with the Flyers.
Blue-collar team in blue-collar city, so it was a perfect marriage.
It was charity events and would bond with the fans, becoming one with the city, and soon they felt like family to those in the area. The Flyers would finish the year posting 50 wins and coasting into the playoffs, and the foundation of the team was set. But it took more than just a general manager and the players to do just that. It took a coach with smarts and with wit, someone who knew how to control the Bullies.
They could do, and he knew how to deploy them.
I had a team that loved to fight, so I let them fight.
Fred Shiro I had a team that loved to fight.
Fred Shiro will become well respected by his players and by the fans. Shiro knew how to control his players and how to control the game. Shiro knew his team was the toughest in the league and knew they were ones to show no mercy, and he understood that and allowed the chaos to unfold. Shiro knew his team won by grit, and he was okay with that, allowing each of his players to showcase their strengths and abilities. He also made history, becoming the first coach to have an assistant bench boss. Freddie was just like his players. He never backed down. The 1973-74 Stanley Cup Final between the Boston Bruins and the Philadelphia Flyers. Both dominated their way to the top. Now they had one last hill to climb. They knew it wouldn't be easy, so the Flyers relied on their good luck charm, Kate Smith. She'd sing God Bless America before the Flyers games, and their record when she did so was phenomenal, going 36-3-1 when it was sung. The organization wanted to give everyone hope that night, and Kate would put on the show.
That song.
Smith did her part. Now it was up to the Flyers to finish the rest. It was a must-win. The series goes back to Boston. Philly knew what was in play, and Perron stood on his head, stunning the Bruins time and time again. After back-and-forth action, the Flyers had the lead. All they had to do was end it.
15 seconds left in the game. 10 seconds. Morris shoots it down the ice. Perron makes the save. Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup.
They won the Stanley Cup? They won the Stanley Cup? They probably doubled down on the bullying after that. They had to double down. Gotta double down. You win the shit, you gotta double down. That's hard. They got random people on the ice. Motherfuckers just run on the ice. They don't even care no more. We just won the Stanley.
The Flyers' run was magical, and it wasn't over, as the following season, they returned back to the final, this time facing the Buffalo Sabres. The Flyers led 1-0 for the majority of the game. Perron once again stoned the opposition cold, and once again, all the Flyers had to do was put it away. The city of Philly would once again have hope, and would once again plan the parade.
Thought it was behind him. Kindrachuk blocks it, and it comes to the near side. Kindrachuk. Back to Clement, a breakaway! He scores! Goes Clement for a case of tasty cake, and it's 2-0 Flyers. Clement mobbed by his home.
They ain't go back to back. No way they went back to back.
That's his first point of the playoffs.
They went back to back?
It's all over. The Flyers have won the second in a row.
They went back to back? Hey, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. I like the bully. If you gonna bully, you gonna fight. Win. If you gonna win, then I mean, I'll let them fight. Shit, fuck it. 2 back-to-back is crazy, though.
And there's that clenched fist to body clock saying, attaboy gang, we did it again.
All of their hard work
finally hit a nigga with a left hook. Who's that? Dave Schultz? Gotta be.
All of their hard work finally paid off.
That ain't him.
They shocked the league. They proved to everyone that they were no longer being pushed around. They showed that everyone they deserved to be in Philly and deserved the hoist to cup. They became celebrities to everyone in Philadelphia. They became known everywhere. However, they create even more history against one of the most hated teams at the time, being the only ones to defeat them, the only way they knew how.
Who was the most hated team at the time? Me, the greatest goals to never play in the show. Who was the greatest? Hold on. Who was the greatest team? Who was the greatest team that ever? Who they beat that everybody hated? Because if they was the Bullies, I'm pretty sure everybody hated them. Who else? Like, who could everybody else hate?
This will forever go down as one of the most deadliest games in NHL history.
Deadliest games.
Worthy of its own video. Worthy of its own video. The 1976 Super Series, a series featuring the Soviets versus the entire NHL. Every NHL.
Oh, the Soviet players under. Hey, shit, hold on. They played the Soviets? Like just the Philadelphia Phillies? Should we do I don't know, should we just do a video on that? Should I do a video on
Soviets, and every team lost, except for one, the Philadelphia Flyers.
Hold on, I gotta watch a video on that. We're gonna do an individual video on that. We gonna do an individual video on that. We ain't gonna do that. We're gonna skip this part. We're gonna do a video on that. I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that game. I wanna watch the whole game. Fuck it. We're gonna just watch that whole game since, you know.
They helped make history in more ways than one. They were the first to have an assistant coach, a role that is pivotal.
That was the first to have an assistant coach. Damn, Philadelphia Flyers changed the game.
In the NHL today, and the Bullies would help the role of enforcer enter into the game. The Broad Street Bullies created the physicality of the league, and they were the definition of the penalty box. The Bullies brought hope and excitement back to the city that needed a resurrection, to a city that needed to be lifted. The Bullies became like family, and they set themselves and the team up for success. All of this happened for a reason, and there's always a lesson to learn. Never allow yourself to become pushed around. Never back down, because eventually one can rise up and prove everyone wrong. This is a moment, one that will forever go down in hockey history.
That's crazy, bro. They got pushed around twice and was like, yeah, it will never be a third time. Dave Schultz was like, hooks, scrape, hooks. Nigga Dave Schultz was fighting the media, everybody. I ain't gonna lie, this is crazy. I wish I could watch the whole movie though, cause I want to see each individual fight. I ain't gonna lie, I want to see each individual fight. But they had some good scores on their team though. They wasn't like it was just bullies. They was actually good players. I ain't gonna lie. Cause if you won two final series back-to-back, 2 Stanley Cups, you had to have good players. It's not just bullies, but hey, like, comment, subscribe, bro. If y'all want to see that video where they went against the Soviet Union, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna drop that. That's gonna happen, but I'm gonna see y'all next, man. Y'all already know what's going on, man. Okay.